Guys, Mr. from Swap Time here with Josh. We did a LE3 Gen 5 conversion on this, and I want to go over some details and show you how we did it. And this is a budget swap, so this is something anyone can do, and we'll save a bit of money from doing, let's say, a high-end swap. So first off, we got the stock engine. We used a Holley LT oil pan, a swap pan, which is needed. Next, we used the stock frame mounts. These are for a small block Chevy, even though I have a Firebird, already had an LS motor in it, so these are just LS mounts. Then we used ICT billet LS to LT mounts. For the exhaust manifolds, we used the Camaro LT manifolds. So these are stainless steel, basically headers. As you can see, we have miles of room on this side. The driver's side had to be massaged a bit. We had to kind of dent some of the tubes down here by the box. But I really wanted to use these because of the, these are high quality pieces with heat shield and everything like that. I didn't really want to put headers in it if I didn't have to. But they do make headers that will fit this chassis and clear this gearbox better. On the frame, my brother helped do that. He smoothed the frame a while ago, kind of gave it a pro touring look and painted it. I have upper control arms, and we're going to put Viking coilovers in it. So we have those parts, just not there yet. The next part, Josh has finished up the tunnel, so that's a big question on what needs to be done there. So what I bought, kind of help out, this is a Chris Alston T56 tunnel panel to give you more room for a T56. So I was hoping this would give us enough clearance, which in your opinion does it? I know it's pretty close. Does it give enough clearance for the transmission?
Yeah, it does. And since it has tabs on the side, you can adjust that as high as you need to. We got about a ½ inch of clearance over the top of the transmission, so I think that'll be plenty. And the drive shaft angle's right, everything's good, so I recommend it. Got to do a little bit of massaging to the front, depending on how far forward you want to go there. We tried to run it up pretty far into the tunnel, so obviously this is a square unit, that goes into a round tunnel. But it's just a couple little pie cuts. Did it in a few hours.
Okay.
Charged like 7. Just kidding.
We'll take a look underneath the car. So.
Me to cut?
Yeah. The cross member for a T56 from Transadapt, and this thing doesn't fit at all, even though it looks perfect right now. It's because Josh put some
Thank you.
hard work and blood into it.
Yes.
The problem with this cross member is it comes out almost another 4 or 5 inches back.
Yeah, it was about 5 inches away from being where we needed it to be.
Yeah.
So basically the whole back of that, I just had to cut it off, move it forward, and then weld it in, box it, make it all look as factory as possible.
And it looks awesome because this contours the body. I didn't even notice this, but as you can see, this goes up in this indentation.
Mm-hmm.
And your exhaust will go through here, so it gives you, this is really important because when I attempted an LS swap with me, my brother, and dad, I did not know much about this stuff. I had no fabrication skills, so we just kind of made things work. One of the issues was we never opened the tunnel, so the T56 was tilted down a bit, which threw the exhaust, where the exhaust would hang low, and I had driveline vibrations. It caused all sorts of issues. So this is critical to get your height set, and Josh set it to -2 degrees.
Correct, 2.
Got that dialed in. That's part of the deal is getting the tunnel to fit as well. Now I should be able to drive whatever speed I want to, have no vibrations. And this is nice. That exhaust will stay nice and tucked up, because I drove this car quite a bit, but I hate to go over speed bumps. That bad feeling in the back of your mind that you can cause damage. My exhaust got kind of crunched. It's stainless steel, so it's not a good thing. I want this to be a daily driver, where I don't have to worry about things hanging down too low. It's just going to be at a nice ride height. So this was a big part of it, and you did an awesome job. The next part over here, tackle next few days, is you got your shifter arm right here. I'm running a 2018 Camaro shifter and console assembly. So we'll have to see, we got the brackets and the cable. We got to see what we have to do here, but where you don't have much space in this area for that bracket. So this might have to, be opened up a bit. We'll just see how it goes, or you flip the bracket upside down, and there's just different ways to do it. So we'll see how that goes. You see the exhaust from underneath the car. You see it drops out pretty nice. So we'll run 2.5-inch exhaust. I don't see any point of anything bigger because this is barely 2.5-inch. But these flow pretty good, so I don't think there's big complaints on these. I think these even came on LT4s that make 650 horsepower. So pretty simple. And again, I really want good exhaust clearance. I want it to be tucked in.
And we still have to put the motor mount bolts in. That's not overlooked. We've just had this thing in and out a couple times for clearances for anybody that's going to nitpick.
Also, the trans pan, I don't think it hangs down too low. You don't really have any options on these 8-speeds. You're not going to replace this pan with something else. But yeah, it's not bad. The 6L80s actually have a much deeper pan. So not too bad here. Good positioning. Here's the oil pans. A little worried, but this is always a problem, how close this link is to here. As the wheels turn, we'll see if it might try to kiss it, but it looked better than it did before with the other setup. I used a stock LS pan, and at turn to turn, full lock, it would barely touch it. I was just poor at the time, and I couldn't afford a swap pan. So I just had that in mind. But it looks really nice, and it's going to be, like I said, a great daily driver. We're also using 2018 Camaro gauges, and it's going to have the paddle shift on the steering wheel, as with the shifter itself. It'll have tap shift. So trying to get all the technology. It's going to have flex fuel. It's going to have the pulse width fuel system in it. I'll do a video just on that. Rex Tanks came out with a stamp tank that will accept a Gen 5 or Gen 6 fuel pump, which is huge. It keeps the cost down. That tank is $380, $400. It's better than spending a couple $1,000s on the stainless steel unit. I don't have a need for it. I get the AC. AC looks like will work. On this accessory drive up here, the water pump, I might change it out with a 2020 Silverado pump. I brought it. You just unbolt it, throw the new pump on it, and it has your alternator bracket built onto it, but it centers everything up. This will stay the same, so I haven't messed with that yet. What's the next on the hit list besides the shifter?
Drive shaft measure. We're going to get the angle on the rear end correct. We're going to trim the front of this bracket a little bit so you can use your block off plate for what was at the vacuum pump. Not super familiar with these motors. And I guess next thing, man, you're just going to go to town wiring, and we're going to do some touch-ups, fix a couple little spots on the frame that, didn't have super thick paint. And after that, we're going to get this thing together and do some donuts in the parking lot.
Yeah, I got transmission lines. I brought those.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use stock 8L90 transmission lines. I just got to flare the ends to those. It'll follow the contours of the transmission and engine perfectly. So that's and it's free. It came on a drivetrain. So good setup there. So I'm hoping end of next week we'll do a test fire. For the harness, I'm doing the harness, of course. The ECU and fuse panel is going to mount down here. I don't want anything on the inside. I have vintage air. There's just no room. And we can install a harness in 15 minutes and mount the ECU, no problem. And it looks really good the way I do it now. So we'll do that. And yeah, we'll do the drive shaft now. I brought the yoke for that, which I totally forgot to do. And get started on that. Well, here's the first video on the series. We'll probably just come out with 3 total. So I'll keep you updated and ask any questions, and we'll try to answer it.
Make sure to subscribe. Swap time.